A lot of folks who went through the exact same canon event addressed this situation with a whole lot more confidence, but as a 12-year-old boy who sounded like a 30-year-old man at the time, I did not have that confidence. See, these days, I'm completely fine. Like, a lot of people look at me and they're just like, man, you look so put together. I'm just like, well, I do have all of my body parts intact, yes. And after I say that dumb shit, I'm just like, that's not what they meant. I know that's not what they meant. Why did I just say that? And I'll tell you exactly why. It's because I'm 6'8" and I'm an awkward guy. Wait a minute, why am I rhyming? Listen, what I'm trying to say is, all right, at first glance, you would not assume that I am one of those guys who would run away from their first kiss, but I am, and it was horrible. See, I came into my new middle school at 7th grade, which was right after my 6th grade arc where I hated my life. See, I was planning on going there and not talking to anybody, trying to be as edgy as I possibly could because for some reason I thought my little boy brain was cool at the time. But literally, first period, okay, I'm not lying to you. I saw somebody, right, and they caught my eye, unlike anybody has ever caught my eye before. And believe it or not, a person who I was friends with a little bit before I met them just so happened to be friends with them. So naturally, I'm like, oh my God. I like you, but I'm not gonna say anything. See, I was still going through my little bitch arc. You know, when you look at somebody, you talk to them for a little bit, you figure out that you like them and you have a crush on them, and you proceed to not say anything to them. Works every time. But you see, my awkward nature actually came in clutch for me because they were with somebody else. So I was like, oh shit, okay, my bad, let me back off. Because either way right there, all I really cared about is just being their friend and being there for them in any way I possibly could. If it meant just being friends, that's completely okay. It was fine just being around. Because whether it's friend or something more than friend, I legitimately enjoyed their presence. And I refuse to let my feelings be something that gets in the way of that. And see, that's the interesting thing about being an introverted and awkward guy, right? Well, you're not talking to people, you generally just tend to look at people, and I guess that garnered a whole lot of emotional intelligence throughout the years. And yeah, sure, I didn't have to know who they were with. Honestly, that was none of my business. Until I saw them kiss in front of me, and the person that they were with was actually my friend. Now, I do mean friend very loosely here. What we actually did was just joke around a lot in 3rd period, and I guess I had my own little group there. When I said that there was absolutely no implications, right, that they were with each other, I legitimately did not know. But I took one look at that, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. And let me tell you, I had a fucking brain blast, okay? See, up until that moment, I noticed a whole lot of little things. Number one, the person that I liked would giggle at my jokes. Their eyes lighted up whenever they looked. Every single time, without fail, whenever I sat outside the classroom waiting for the teacher to get there for first period, they would always sit right next to me every single day. Even if I was just watching a video on my phone, they would just sit there and almost lean on me. They would ask me if I was okay, how my day was going, and I would return the favor. When I felt like shit, I would tell them, and when they felt like shit, they would tell me. It was a very opening experience, especially for somebody who was as closed off as I was. It was very unusual, especially considering the fact that, I mean, throughout the years at that point, I was really just closing myself off, like, slowly. And yeah, you know, you could make a counterpoint like, oh, care, man, anybody could have walked up to you. Yeah, sure, anybody could have, but anybody isn't them. Like, I don't think you understand. Nobody actually showed me that kind of care before. And yeah, don't get me wrong, family is one thing, but to have somebody walk up to me and like me, for me, is something that literally never happened before. Not because it was unconditional, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. When somebody wants to know you more, and they willingly walk up to you, it's a whole different feeling. And suddenly the world that you thought you were walking into is nothing like you thought it was going to be at all. I paid attention to every little thing, every joke that we made, every time they sat close to me, every note we passed in class. And I realized I don't just like them, I think they like me. And the person that they're with, they don't actually want to be with. But then I thought, oh, that's just fucking crazy shit. Like, I obviously can't just go with that narrative because I don't know what they actually think. And yeah, sure, I can like them, and I can come to my own conclusion if they like me, but at the end of the day, if they don't, and they don't say it, then they don't. And unlike a lot of other teenagers at the time, I can confirm to you that this didn't actually come from a point of insecurity. It came from a point of me not wanting to be selfish. Even though in 3rd period, I saw their significant other talking a whole lot of shit about them, even actively trying to pursue somebody else right in front of me as they were in the relationship that they were in, I was just sitting there like, I still have to respect it. I was really just okay with being a friend at that point. Until they broke up. Now, this is where the tides of the story changes and shifts dramatically. Like, you don't understand. I was on chill time 24/7, right? Just chilling out, being their friend this whole time, right? And then bada bing, bada boom, they break up. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was a completely normal day for me, all right? And then that shit popped up like it would in a goddamn regular episode of a sitcom. And the most interesting factor about this was, right, how I found out was the fact that they told me directly. It's been years and I still have yet to ask them about this properly, but I'm pretty goddamn sure that I was the first person they told them. And then my neurons activated and I was like, wait a minute, why did you just tell me that? Like, yeah, sure, I'm your friend and all, but that really has nothing to do with me, and usually you would discuss that with your other friends in the... I understand it now. And just like that, a hint was thrown my way. One of the most obvious hints that I've ever gotten, and yet I was still unbelievably dense. But from then on, you know, I kind of played my game a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I still kept it respectful because I didn't know whether or not they were hurt, and I did not want them to go into another relationship if they were already hurt from a previous one. If I was to pursue them, okay, I wanted them to be okay with it, and I wanted them to have enough time to heal if they needed healing. I spent the next half of the year just chilling out, being their friend and being there for them, flirting here and there, but unfortunately, I ran out of town, and my family moved to a different district, which means I moved to another school, and I never got their number. If you want to know how I manipulated an entire school system to get back to them, let me know.